So I haven't thought of a way to start this video, so we're starting this video. Here's a brew, and we're going to talk about some pew. So this weekend, us lot here, and Russ virtually, and a few more of our mates went to Descent Operation Collision, and that, for us, was our first Milsim. So I thought we'd get together, at least us lot here, the others couldn't be bothered, slash had lives. So we thought we'd get together and have a chat.
I feel personally attacked.
Hey,
so you should.
Yeah,
So am I.
Counting myself in that as well, mate. So anyway, I thought we'd get together and have a chat about what went into us going to our first Milsim, getting prepped for it, and then how we found it.
Is there anything we've forgotten about?
Yeah, we forgot about Tom. Tom was meant to be joining us. Tom was playing the intel officer. Unfortunately, he's a bit ill, so he's not
doing all that airsofting on the weekend.
Well, he did go public transport to and from site. Hard life this sound. So I asked him because I was so busy doing TL and armour and all this stuff, I didn't really get a chance to take many photos or videos. So I asked him for a couple of videos that he shot, so I could show you guys the site and maybe some of the firefights. And this is what we got. So as you can see from that, it's really hard for the CO of the section there. Hard life. I don't envy him at all. For reference, the Descent Milsim storyline is Russia has invaded the UK now. So it's set modern times, UK NATO forces versus the Russians. And we decided to go along as a civilian militia. So we didn't have to wear current MTP, we didn't have to wear things like Osprey and Virtus. We could be a bit more haphazard with what we were wearing, and basically
It's a shame because we all have that stuff.
Well, almost. And I don't think any of us have proper MTP load bearing kit, but most of us do have MTP of some shape or form or another. But anyway, we went as civilian militia, and the whole idea behind the civilian militia is you could use any kind of NATO orientated weapon system. You could then use any sort of NATO camouflage that you could pick up from a surplus store. So that's what we did. We went and raided surplus stores to make sure we had all the right kit, or raided surplus stores for the kit we needed. And what I found really funny is pretty much all of us, bar Ollie, were running SA-80s, and all of the regular British Force teams weren't running SA-80s.
That's because Ollie hates the SA-80 with a passion.
He does hate the SA-80 with a passion. Also, he was going for kind of a more police-orientated loadout. So he was running an MP5K, and his backstory to that was that he was a close protection police officer who then joined the militia and brought his MP5K with him. Moving on from the storyline, the actual gameplay was a 24-hour event, technically 25 because it was daylight savings ending, and was set at Gunman Battle Lakes, which is their newest site down in Kent, and is supposedly 600 metres by 400 metres in size, but it's kind of U-shaped. Really, the playable area was more like 250 by 400 metres ish. When you take out the kind of safer zones for the two HQs, the Russians and the Brit Force HQ areas. I think one of the things we should talk about is the different roles that were available for the Milsim. So obviously there was a basic infantryman, and that their job or their role is you have a gun, go shoot stuff. Then on top of that, you've got the LMG gunner, which is you got a bigger gun, go shoot stuff more, which is what Scott plays. And then on top of that, there was the heavy machine gun or the medium machine gun role, which was you get an even bigger gun, go shoot stuff even more. But obviously they had limits on. Well, you had limits on when you could full auto.
Yeah, so I had to be prone with the bipod out, or using hard cover, or shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
Which is quite hard when you're pinned down. You got to move around. You got to shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
But you were allowed to take aim semi shots.
Yeah, but I did avoid that on this. I was given pre-warning not to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Doesn't work on semi.
The ICS doesn't particularly like running on semi.
Mm.
Well, actually, it runs on semi on 11.1s, but then the full auto rate of fire is insane. So I was like, we'll run it on 7.4s, so you get a fairly realistic rate of fire out of it. That sacrifices semi ability.
So realistic.
So realistic. And then on top of that, we had the engineering role, which we weren't allowed to do because we're untrained civvies. But the engineers could either lay or remove landmines, which was important because a big aspect of the game was escorting convoys for us. And then on top of that, there was the medic role, which is very important because the medic keeps you alive and keeps you in the fight. And what you do with your medic...
And doubles up as a point man when Ben's leading.
I never put you on point. You just went on
Yes, you
point
did.
yourself.
Literally. First time we went out, you go, Russell, you're on point. And it wasn't until ages later somebody pointed out, Russell, aren't you the medic?
But yeah, so Russell was our medic, and a lot of the times Russell was the first to die in the squad, which
Was super helpful.
was super...
I think most of the time. I think you could have put me anywhere in the squad and that would have happened, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think so.
Just my special superpower.
But it's your playing style, isn't it? Like, you like to get stuck in there and
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
involved.
Well, that's a very nice way of putting I'm a fucking bullet magnet.
To be fair, I think the second most likely to die in the squad after you was me, and I was the team leader, which
Oh,
is
for
probably...
God's sake, you wouldn't stop bloody dying. Oh, it's awful. Yeah, don't
I'm
die
sorry.
if you're the lead. And
I
then if you have a
follow-
2IC...
I follow the
Oh.
British Army mentality of lead from the front.
I think it's difficult in those situations because you just end up shooting randomly and sitting in the bush and hoping.
Which is the default mode of an infantryman.
Yeah. I don't really remember how we got out of those situations other than...
Well, you did have a 2IC, so there is a second in command / radio operator's role, and their role is if the IC goes down or team lead goes down, they take control and they get on comms to base.
Yeah.
So how did you guys find the rule set that they put in place? So how did you find the running low caps? Did you find it a real big shift from running your standard skirmish style rules, or did you get used to it very quickly?
To be honest, I didn't really notice. I was like
Scott
the
was
one
spraying.
exception.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't really notice.
So Scott, do you want to just bring over the gun you were using for
Yeah.
the weekend? Ooh.
Beautiful LSW.
So Scott had the Crow cannon, which was good because the rule set said rifles were limited to semi-auto and low caps. Mag-fed support weapons, so for this scenario it would be the L86 and the RPK were allowed to run full mid-caps in it and could carry, I think, 3 times as many rounds as a rifleman. So infantry people like myself and Alice and Russ, we were limited to 300 rounds, or for SA80s that'd be 10 mags.
Yeah.
I think you were limited to 900, so you could have carried pretty much 8 mags. But obviously you only carried 6, but you didn't run through ammo.
No, I never ran out of ammo once. I come close on the last game.
The last
Yeah.
game,
Very close. I'd get a couple of mags off you just in case,
Yeah.
but other than that, it was more than enough.
yeah,
It was,
I really like that rule set though, because it meant that you really had to think about the shots you were taking and think about how you're going to place the gunner.
yeah.
So there was one point where we managed to get up behind the Russians and they were engaging our troops, and we had them, and so we deployed you up into the berm, waited till you got into your firing position, and then when you opened up, then rushed them, and then cleared the Russians out, and then proceeded to get blue on blue by the other Brit team.
Yeah.
Friendly
Yeah.
Friendly fire.
God, that was funny. Explain some scenarios. That might be a good thing.
Yeah,
Because,
let's-
like, Milsims, they're different to skirmishes, because skirmishes you can often get repetitive scenarios,
Oh,
or,
absolutely.
like, repetitive games, or like,
Absolutely.
zombies all the time.
But also, I feel like a lot of skirmishers try and narrow you down to basically only play it the way the marshals want you to play it. I felt like with the Milsim and with this in particular, we were given a lot of remit, just like this is your objective to do. Now fuck off and do it.
But the CEO would tell you where to go.
Well, yeah, but it'd be
Can't
like
do
we need you
so.
to go here and do this, but we could choose. Let's go right out on the flank, come all the way around, and come back through to do it. Let's push straight down the middle and just come what may. It was very good because you could also sit there and figure out with the other sections, like, right, we're going to go do this. Why don't you guys go down here and hold that to free us up to do this? I thought that was really interesting. But
So what were the scenarios then?
so talking scenarios, the kind of Milsim was broken into 3 sections. There was the Saturday day stuff, there was the Saturday night ops, and then there was the Sunday morning
Ops and yeah.
Yeah. So Saturday there was the main ones were there were 2 convoys of supplies going through the site that we had to escort and stop the Russians from intercepting and destroying. Russians' objectives were to lay landmines to stop the vehicles and take the vehicles out and defeat the forces protecting them. Before all of this happened, we had to go out, scout the area, start finding landmarks, and basically just get a lay of the land. So we went out and we were first on stag, so some of us were defending our HQ, and the other half of our team went out and looked for landmarks, then we rotated through. After that, however, we just regrouped to the HQ and we were sent out on a QRF to help one of the other sections that come under Russian fire. So we were blitzing it through sight to go help them, and we eventually found them in a different grid cord to where they said they were, and basically got pulled straight into the meat grinder and all died.
This is where you have a map. It's worth printing off the map beforehand, and your team leader should know how to do maps.
I really enjoyed the night ops. I don't know about you guys, but it was so much fun.
It was probably the best part of that. I thought it was so much fun.
I mean,
it was terrifying.
At the time, it was terrifying.
Because we didn't know. We assumed that because most of the Russians were playing really well. We assumed that they were all going to be using nods and stuff, and we were just going to walk into a slaughterhouse. So we're like treading on eggshells the entire way round. And just be really, really careful. And then eventually we actually pretty much got the drop on some Russians.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So do you
want to explain the nighttime scenario?
Yeah.
First?
So the nighttime scenario was a bit more skirmishy in the fact that effectively they had 3 capture points that we had to secure and hold. So there were 3 sets of flags throughout the site that we had to go find and then secure. And there was a red flag and yellow flag. The Russians, really weirdly, were raising the red flag, and we were raising the yellow flags.
Salute!
So luckily, we had a couple of guys with nods on our team, so they went straight out at dark, found all 3 objectives, and fed that intel back to us. So we went out
and flipped the flags.
Flipped the flags, and then we went out on probably the second or probably the 3rd patrol actually. I think the nods guys went out.
Patrol.
Yeah, so we went out and went to secure one of them, and as we were getting close to it, we see torchlight. So I don't know about you guys, but my heart was proper going at that point.
I didn't notice the torchlight.
So we're all digging into the bush, getting ready, and we're just like, please don't see us, please don't see us, please don't see us. And then they see your shirt, Russ.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure they did, because they literally were sort of walking right past. They sort of turned the corner, started looking straight at me. Then it was about 6 feet away, and I lit up the daylight torch and shot at him, and he shot back. And I'd like to think was a little bit of poo in his pants. And I got rinsed. I'm pretty sure I shot him, and he didn't take it, but I'm not gonna make a thing of that. So we'd all sort of been huddled around in the dark, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to bother with a medic rule. If I get shot, I'm going to wuss out and run home." So I thought that's what we were doing. So I get shot and I get properly lit up. So I go, right, fuck it, I'm off.
Understandably so.
Understandable.
And then I go, right, I'm just going to stand here. So when I'm convinced you guys are going to get rinsed. So I go, you guys, I'll leave my torch on. You guys can come and join me when you get shot. And I walk off into the woods a little way away. Can't see anything. And I'm thinking, there'll be like 2 minutes tops. And I'm stood there and I just hear gunfire. And then more gunfire. And then more gunfire. And I think, you guys are fucking winning, aren't you?
I think what went through all of our minds is, we're not losing this flag on our watch to get the shit ripped into us by the other squads. Yeah. So we all just go hell for leather.
Well, I don't know if I went hell for leather or if I just sat behind this really big tree and blinked whenever they So I think their mistake was just one had tracers, so you knew where they
Yeah.
were, because when tracers come out the gun, you know where the gun is.
Yeah.
Duh.
And they were
And
shooting.
then one kept turning their light on.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then we hit them.
Yeah.
Surprise! Like we just didn't turn our torches on.
So I
I
think-
was just hip firing into wherever I could see the tracers coming from. I was
Yeah.
just
So-
pounding fucking rounds into them.
Imagine that scene from Predator.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah.
That was what Scott was going through in his head.
But yeah, there was 2 of them, wasn't there? 3 of them.
No, I think there were 3 or 4 of them, and we must have taken out
And
2
there
or
was
3.
4. Like 4 of us. No, 5 of us. Sorry. So us 3, Russell and Ollie.
Yeah,
So 5 against 4.
yeah, and I think
I thought there were more than that. I could have sworn there were about 100 of them.
okay, well,
1,000.
there were only 9 Russians in total.
Okay, I could have sworn there were 8, maybe 9 of them.
Thousands of them.
I mean, I had been drinking, so maybe it was just double vision.
But yeah, I think basically we got a couple of them, and just the sound of full auto fire coming out of the darkness towards them probably went into them. They're like, "Nah, we're not going to bother with this," and they sodded off.
There was about. Oh yeah, I don't know how long it was. Russell, was there 20 minutes of firing?
No, it was like there's a 5-minute firefight, and then it all went quiet,
And then we sat there for.
and we sat there going, "Shit, they're going on the flank. We're going to get lit up in the arse in a minute."
And all you do is just listen.
And so I'm there on the radio like, "Golf 2-2, get over here now. We're about to get bum rushed, please." And then Golf 2-2 went and fell in a lake.
No, Golf 2-2. They all got shot up at the next flag point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they went down there to come up to us and got lit up by the Russians. But the Russians didn't find that flag for some reason.
Doesn't matter.
But anyway,
Yeah.
that was definitely the highlight of the night for me. And I
I just didn't think we were going to be effective at all without night vision. No one in our team had night vision.
No.
We did that technique that I don't know if Foxtrot or you suggested, which was sitting in the dark to let your eyes adjust.
for 15 minutes.
So
That only works so much, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was better than just going straight in from like semi-light to.
I mean, again, for people watching at home, one thing we haven't pointed out is that it was a waning moon. It was pretty dark.
It was.
Like we weren't seeing through a full moon. We couldn't make out shadows or anything.
and we
It
were
was
in woods.
pretty much pitch black.
Yeah.
When we were sort of following Alice, she was wearing desert DPM. So until about 5-10 meters away, you could just about make up her legs. And so we were sort of following her.
follow the legs.
And then Ollie, who was wearing like dark blue, sort of got in my way. And suddenly I've got no reference at all because I couldn't see Ollie.
So when we were coming out, I was convinced we were losing people. So I kept stopping, turning around to Ollie, who was behind me, and go, "Who's behind you?" Go down the line to make sure everyone was with us. It was proper dark.
It was a bit scary because like trying to go into a bunch of rhododendrons and woodland with no point of reference.
Yeah.
So you'd flash your torch a bit and then walk forward a bit and flash it again and walk forward again.
And we were trying to maintain like as little light pollution as possible to not give our position away, because we knew where all the flags were. We didn't know if the Russians knew, and we didn't want to give that intel away to the Russians.
Yeah.
So
It was interesting. I think clothing. Russell brings up a really good point. Like I was wearing DDPM, which was you could see in the dark almost. You were wearing a white shirt that Ben's alluded to that you could see in the dark, or more so. So I guess the clothing you wear is kind of important.
Ollie was pretty much all black.
Yeah, he was black and olive
I
drab.
was full DPM.
You were full DPM,
Couldn't
and I
see
was
Scott.
DDPM bottoms, DPM top. So you couldn't see my top half; you could just see my legs. But again, 5-10 meters out, as Russell was saying, couldn't see it.
We also kept seeing ghosts. Because you'd see something that was maybe a little bit of light, and then you'd be convinced that it was coming towards you.
Yeah.
And you'd sort of convince yourself that somebody was coming towards you. And I remember one bit, like I could see a bit of light, and we'd all been looking at this piece of light quite intently. I later found out it was a traffic cone.
Yeah.
The reflective bit on the traffic cone looked a bit light from a distance.
Yeah, it did.
It's amazing how different things are.
The British side said we don't really need to go out again. The Russian side were, I think, in the field defending their objective. They got 1 out of 3, we got 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so we held 2 and they held
They were
1.
defending their objective, so that's what they did. That's what they were doing, and then we called Index.
Yep.
At night, which was cool, because then people could take iPro off. Because you're wearing iPro in your camp, in the field, everywhere, you couldn't take it off.
I think it all started up again about 5:30 the next morning.
Yeah.
we were waking up at 6, and just after we woke up, there was a call for QRF. So I stumbled out my tent as quickly as possible, kitted up, and
Throw up in a bush? No.
I didn't throw in a bush.
Felt like
No,
it.
that was Scott after eating the calamari.
Yes, the first night
Yeah.
was amazing.
First night camping.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, but yeah, so we so I stumbled out, got in the QRF, and ran down, and one of our teams had already come into contact with the Russians. So the light was coming up, but because it was thick woodland, it was very dark in there. And when I got down there about 6:30, it was still really dark. It was only just starting to get a bit ghostly looking, where you could see a bit further out. But yeah, so that happened, and the Russians managed to secure their objective, get it back, and then
we had to go out, so Mike had to go out.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we did. We did summon.
that's when we set up the ambush on them and shot them. They were on the police station, and you lit them up.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
yeah.
We snuck around, didn't we?
Yeah, so we went out again on QRF about an hour later.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't an hour.
No. After the initial QRF. Well, no, it was half an hour.
Was it half an hour? Were you back for half an hour? I thought you were in straight back out again.
Not sure. Anyway, I'd come back from that initial QRF, and then we, as a whole force, went out as a QRF because Golf 2-2 had come under fire. So we flanked round the Russians, got behind them, took them out, radioed in that we'd secured that location before we just started getting lit up by our own team. To be fair, for them, very confusing because they're just looking for MTP, and we all rocked up in DPM and stuff.
Yeah, but there was a bit of difficulties, but we were told not to wear MTP.
You would have thought the British Rifles would have given away the fact we were
You could
British.
see them, yeah.
Also, the DPM is still pretty British.
Yeah.
And also
Oh,
DDPM is very not Russian. And I had a DDPM rig on and was running around like a madman.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This was a bit naughty of me because I shouldn't have done it. But basically, I got shot by them, went down. You ran over, dragged me into cover to medicked me. Then we were trying to figure out where we were getting shot from, and I got hit again. And then over the radio came, yeah, there's two of them. They're behind cover. One of them's getting medicked. And I'm like, okay, right, you've just slaughtered me for the second time. It's me behind cover, and I am now dead. Thank you very much. And then suddenly, radio silence.
They still kept shooting at us.
They still kept shooting at us for a while.
And then one of them, the only saving grace there was their gunner, their LMG, well, that machine gun man.
Actually, it was their MMG.
MMG man ran at us in full MTP, and I shot him, and then was like, oh, you're wearing MTP, I better medic you. Then
Wait.
I medicked him.
Hang on, no, we did the challenge call. So we had a challenge call, which was...
No, that's after.
Oh, was that after you shot him?
After I shot him.
Okay.
And then I was like, hang on. And then I medicked him and he was like, leave! Screaming as soon as he was alive again. And they were like, leave?
Yeah. They set up the last big part of the game. It was meant to go from 9 to 10. And it was... We had to destroy a Russian's comms tower. And we had to hold it for 20 minutes.
No, wait, to keep... Didn't we have to destroy the Russians had taken over our comms tower?
The Russians had hacked a cell tower and turned it into a comms tower for that.
That.
We had to hold it for 20 minutes, so a Eurofighter could dispatch to drop a bomb on it.
Yeah.
And I think they had in mind that what would happen is we'd hold it for a bit, then the Russians would push us off it, and we'd have to get it back a couple of times. That'd take about an hour to do.
Let's just be honest. In this, we had all 3 British squads, so Juno, Mike, and Golf were out.
So about 20 players versus 9 Russians.
Versus 9 Russians. So, yeah.
And we got to deploy slightly ahead of them, so we had secured it. We didn't have to push them off it. So I think what happened was we all went, it's pissing it down with rain. Sod this. We want it to happen in 20 minutes. So we held that bastard for the 20 minutes and finished it in just 20 minutes.
We fought tooth and nail.
We just held it. It was close.
We got killed a couple of times, but Scott was MVP with the LSW. You were just ripping down Russians left, right, and centre.
It was cool. That was the second best part of the weekend for me.
After
the
night
ops.
You came back looking like a drowned rat.
Yeah,
we
I've
did.
never seen DPM look that wet before.
Yeah, Scott was wet and muddy.
Because I had to lie prone as well. At one point, I was kneeling in a bog anyway, and then they were coming around me then, and I had to get him prone to shoot this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, just you know what? I'm wet anyway. I might as well just lie down, get it over with, and just
for the glory of the Empire.
Just carry on.
Now, one thing I did learn there that I should have done differently, but luckily it didn't happen, so we were all right. Was what we should have really done is had someone right next to you in that
to keep
bunker
medicing you.
you were in. So they could medic you, and then if you went properly down, they could take the LSW and keep it up.
But we did briefly happen, because just as you guys come back, as in the last, we got that minute warning, didn't we?
Yeah.
About a minute before that, I did get hit, but there was someone there. He medicked me, and we thought we'll just stay here.
Yeah.
Like we got the last minute, we just hold it, just stay
Yeah.
here, don't fall back. We'll just hold and just get blown up, sort of thing, and head back to base afterwards. So we just stayed there.
Yeah, well, Team Mike died with the comms tower.
Yeah.
We all.
Yeah.
So Ben and I were dead, so we couldn't move.
Well, we
Scott
were both
was-
in need of a medic.
Yeah, we were both in need of a medic. Well, yeah, we were both screaming. Scott was with his buddy in the fort area.
Yeah.
Sam was being stubborn and holding the ground. Ollie was Ollie was medicing. No, either he needed medicing or he was holding ground. But yeah, we all just stayed near the. They were like, "Get out of there!" And we were like, "No."
No, we will see this through to the last.
Yeah. Well, we didn't. We just lay on the floor.
But it was intense. That was such an intense game as well.
It was really good.
And the Russians put up such a good fight.
They did.
I was reminded of that my barrel had to cool down.
Yeah.
There was so much going on. It's like, just remember, your barrel is getting hot. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's like trigger bursts.
Yeah,
isn't it?
so the rule on the
So-
LSW was when firing, you had to do you could do a 1 second burst and a 2 second.
cool. Yeah.
I don't know if that was like a fixed thing, so you could do like a half second burst and a 1 second wait. I feel like that would be.
Yeah,
that'd
to be fair,
fairly
I was roughly I was just counting in my head as I was doing it and trying to be as fair as possible. And there's so much going on and so many people moving up on you. It was.
And yeah, it's crazy. And I guess to point out as well, because it was raining so heavily, people had hoods on, people had, it was difficult. Comms, people's radios
A lot
died
of
because they
radios
got
were
filled
going
with
down.
water.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of shouting.
Yeah,
And basically the Russians knew where we were anyway, so it didn't matter if we shouted or not, because we were defending the comms tower. Does it really matter if they know where you are?
No.
But yeah, it seemed to be quite effective, because you just shout out where people were.
That reminds me, we accidentally took out the Russian HQ at one point, and basically we were trying to do a flank on the Russians, and the Russian commander Jenson decided to take some pot shots at us, and what he learnt very quickly is hell hath no fury like an house under fire. So I think the shout was "fucking contact! Take him out!" And then all of our unit just opened up on the HQ.
I'm sorry. We didn't know it was a HQ.
No,
We just
didn't
saw
know.
a tent, didn't
No,
we?
because it was so.
It could have been anything. Like, we didn't know the site. I thought it could have been like a tactical nest where we needed to infiltrate to get them
This
out.
is the thing. I knew it was really close to the area that they said was like, here be dragons, don't go here because there's a lot of heat signatures there. But it was also only like 50 metres off of the
50
road.
metres from the track,
And the road was like a primary objective that we had to get stuff through. Yeah. So I'm like, well, we got to secure the road, so we need to take this guy out. We push through it, and I'm like, this looks like their HQ. They got a big map and everything. And I'm like, that's Jenson. Is this your HQ? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit, we shouldn't have done this.
See, that was a problem when we had to get that Jeep out there. The road is so close to where that HQ was.
Yeah, but we
And
got
they were
out.
just we did get out, but they were taking pot shots at us, and we're like, do we shoot back into their HQ?
Well, yeah, they were firing at us.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as they left their tent bit, they were basically fair game.
Yeah, but
It's
they were running into their tent and then setting up a firing position in their tent, shooting
it
out.
was-
Oh.
yeah.
But I saw the PKM guy go in there and set it
Oh
up.
well.
But-
well.
But we popped smoke and got the vehicle out, so it was all good.
Yeah. fair.
So we had a challenge call that we'd set up beforehand, which was leaf, and the response was wind. Originally it was going to be fire and fly, but we pointed out that maybe shouting fire is not the best challenge call. So we changed it to leaf wind, and I don't think we used it nearly enough.
We used it quite a lot though.
We did use it quite a lot.
I only found out it was a thing that night. We did the night ops or something. I was like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? What is leaf wind?
Oh yeah.
This is the first I've heard about this.
Oh, really?
Genuinely.
Oh wow!
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, yeah.
You know,
it
I
wasn't
said I was
the-
out of the loop on most things. Genuinely the first I've heard about this.
And this is all over the organisational pages. This is why it's important.
It wasn't passed around nearly enough.
Yeah.
I should-
I read through a shit ton for this.
So I think actually that's the thing. That's one of the things we didn't do was we had the main briefing, which was for both Brits and Russians, And then we went to our camps.
And then there was no British briefing.
There was no.
It was
British
an immediate.
briefing.
So Golf and Juno, the elite proper British forces, not civvies, all went out.
Deployed straight away, and we didn't get a proper briefing in.
But that was at 10 o'clock, and I know they were probably wanting to make the most of the game day.
I know, but we probably could have done a quickish briefing. Oh well.
I mean, we probably could have, yeah.
So I've learned a lot, but I need to disseminate more information to my team.
You've got to remember, at the end of the day, it was our first Milsim.
Yeah, definitely. And I learnt a lot, and like we had some experienced guys on our team, and like even on the first game, on the first boundary search thing, when we all went out, and I was like right up Sam. Well, no, I was right up Sam's arse, like trying to get out into the game, and then they were like, you should probably stagger it just in case you get spotted, or one of you gets spotted. So like one person, then like 5 or 10 meters, and the next person 5 or 10 meters, and all the different orientations you can walk in.
So yeah, what we should have done when we were out on patrol is done staggered formation and had the radius of a grenade kill distance between each person, so that if a grenade gets thrown in, it's only going to take out one person. And if someone opens up with a gun, it's unlikely to be able to spray through the whole team before we can hit cover.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Which is
not what you do in skirmishes at all.
No, absolutely.
You always run around together like whee.
Which is the sort of things that we will start to learn, and we did start learning it. Like getting on towards later in the Saturday and on Sunday, I was trying to get people to go in order, and I was being like, okay, point, you go left side road, and then you go right side road, and left side.
No, Russell, you can't do point. You've got to medic everyone. That's when I had to go point, and then I was a bit too slow, so I do apologise.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine.
Waddles.
No, I thought it was interesting. So
being point is scary. You don't know if you're going to get shot.
I know, being pointed is a bit scary.
Scary.
So coming back to things learned, let's go through it. So we all took quite a bit of kit. What kit did you guys take that you didn't use?
So 80% of the mags I bought, 60% of the batteries I bought, the marquee, 3/4 of the gas stoves I bought, 2/3 of sleeping bags I bought, 2/3 of tents I bought.
Should we give some context to this? Because like 2/3 of a sleeping bag sounds a bit dodgy.
Yeah, I bought loads of spares because you guys were talking about sleeping under a basher. And I took one look at the forecast and thought, yeah, that will last about 20 minutes. So I bought some spares for you guys. And then you guys, being bastards, borrowed a tent and decided to camp sensibly.
Yeah, so it was so thoughtful. Russell was like the mum of the group almost, or the dad of the group, sorry. And you, brought spares, bought prep stuff, like extras. And yeah, it would have been really, really useful if the weather had been as bad. So it was predicted to be very bad that weekend.
It was
100% of the jumpers I bought. I bought 3 jumpers and didn't wear any of them.
What?
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
It was freezing at night.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
I still think mags is a common theme. Like I probably only needed like 5 mid caps.
Admittedly.
I mean, if I'd been more combat effective, maybe I would have needed more. But then at the same time,
part of me thinks that was due to the site, as opposed to the game.
The Milsim, yeah.
I feel like if we were playing at a bigger site, and we were out on the field longer, then we would have gone.
To be fair, we were obviously the team that didn't go out for the longest stint. So like Golf and Juno would go out for a lot longer than we did. We'd always get our return to base after every op.
Yeah.
Or our op would be go out, retrieve something, and come back. So yeah, I guess it's the way they play us.
But yeah, also being quite a small site, it was very easy to fall back to the field pack reload or fall back to our base reload and regen.
I mean, the field pack was really useful. I think still, even I'd have just even if it had been a bigger site, the field pack would have been enough just to respawn off. You got to carry your ammo in there and water and whatever.
So I'm just trying to think about what kit I took but didn't use. I had my high power on me and I didn't use it.
Pistols are pretty useless in Woodland.
They were.
I probably used it more than you did.
The high power?
Because the battery on my L85 went.
Oh, did you actually shoot it?
No, I didn't shoot it, but I actually held it.
Oh yeah. But I felt as I was technically the officer of the group, I had to have a pistol because those are the rules. The officer has a pistol.
So that when we drove you to despair, you could top yourself.
No, it's so when I didn't see any action, I could shoot myself from the foot and go home a hero.
Yeah.
I took an extra rat pack because I didn't know if we were going to go out for food on the Friday night.
Yeah.
Which we ended up going out for food,
Regrets.
so we didn't use it.
But,
Scott got food poisoning.
Oh, regrets.
Real bad food poisoning.
It was really nice, to be fair, if the owner was watching. Like, it was really nice food. It was such a good
so
pub.
good.
I was just unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, I had amazing food.
I'd go back there and eat the same thing again because it was actually quite nice. But
yeah, you had calamari, which is fishy, which
it was just really unlucky.
But I had scallops and I was okay, so I guess
I think what kit I didn't use. I took those field binoculars for you.
Didn't use them at all.
I took field binoculars and left them in the
bag. You don't
bag.
really need binoculars when using this.
Exactly. I only bought them because you were going to be running your iron sights, but then you took the LSW, so you had that.
You probably do need it. I did regret not taking them out a few times.
Yeah, because like if we were doing an observation op and we're like trying to figure out where they were, it's really useful to be able to just scan the field with a magnified optic and look for them. I mean, Rush, you're running iron sights, weren't you? Or
only when I borrowed your Sterling and when I borrowed your high power.
Yeah, but other than that, you're running optics.
Oh yeah, optics all the way.
Yeah, it's really great because you can actually, go, oh, is that a tree or is that a dude? Oh, it's a dude.
Yeah.
I think binoculars might have been a bit optimistic.
Yeah.
But
with iPro on, it's a bit difficult, isn't it?
That's not too...
Yeah, and also it was a fairly dense woodland, so seeing more than about 100 yards in front of you was just impossible.
Yeah, but these are like little army field binoculars. They're designed for doing quite close.
Oh, okay, yeah. I did find myself using the optic to sort of check, as you say, if that was a tree or a person.
Yeah, I had an EOTech, so non-magnified, and I couldn't really see shit.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. I was like, is that a tree or a person? I'll just shoot it anyway.
Dual roll, it's the best way.
Yeah, maybe.
4 times zoom, bitches!
Oh, yeah.
Get a red dot, mate. Get a red dot.
It's got teeny tiny iron sights on the top. I don't need a red dot.
I need to represent the non-magnified sights of the world.
It's also airsoft. You just aim it like a hose pipe.
Pretty much.
Oh, that was another thing I bought but didn't use. So specifically for this, I got one of the hooligan grips that turns into a bipod.
Yeah.
I've always thought they were cool. And yeah, it was too high up for when I was lying prone. It was useless.
Yeah, it's a common knowledge, that one. It's like, what is the point of it?
Ball scratching device. Just the right length. Very handy.
I did use my first aid kit because Alice borrowed the Vaseline out of it.
Oh yeah. Got chapped lips.
Lips.
I think when you're cold and you're wet or you're concentrating,
I got chapped lips.
I got chapped lips. My hair was destroyed. I ripped a lot of my hair out that weekend. People with long hair, tie it up, out of the way. It got stuck in my gun. It got stuck in my Bowman. It got stuck in trees. But I looked cool, and that's all that mattered.
You did look cool. One of the other things I guess I wanted to ask was, so we talked about kit that we took. What wouldn't you take? What about kit you wanted to have had, and next time if we did a Milsim you would want? For me, I want to get a better PTT setup.
Push to talk, then.
Yeah, push to talk for my radio and headset. So the radio and a better mounting solution for the radio.
Push to talk is the same number of syllables as PTT.
No,
You're
PTT.
not saving any time.
PTT is quicker than saying push to talk.
It's not.
It is. Anyway, I work in the defence sector. I always use TLAs or FFLAs. But yeah, so I'll probably get a better PTT and headset setup. And better waterproofing for my radio. I think Sam would definitely get some better waterproofing for his radio because in the last 10 minutes his radio started pushing buttons by itself.
Both radios. He had 2 and both went down.
Yeah, which was interesting.
I don't think I'd wear a white shirt next time. I might actually run DPM.
You do surprise.
Surely not.
Well, the problem is I put on quite a lot of weight over lockdown and most of my DPM doesn't fit me anymore.
Yeah,
So I just rocked up in my work clothes, really.
But that's the thing, it was civvies, you could rock up in basically whatever you wanted to, and you had the farmer role.
I was thinking I'd probably change my kit, so I think because I bought a big sort of communal 4-man tent, which you could stand up in, and Ollie and I just ran that as an armoury all weekend, which was really, really useful, but now I've got a sodding great big pop-up tent that I've got no idea how I'm going to dry it, and it's sort of flooded a bit. So I'm thinking I'd swap that out for a marquee, and I basically just bought everything to see what would stick. and now I've probably got a better idea of what works
Mm.
and what's a bit pointless. So I'd streamline what I bought, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah. Would you run comms? Curious.
I see. I've got comms. I'm just not sure if they're working at the moment. I probably should. Probably wouldn't hurt, but that's just another thing to bring along and to be faff.
Yeah,
really.
that's true. It is faff. Like mine kept breaking because my push to talk, as Ben said, his was rubbish. Mine was rubbish. The only way to get my radio to work.
My biggest problem was too much faff. It was the stuff I bought.
Yeah.
I think that's what really stressed me out, was because a lot of the kit that I took was I took with the intention of lending to people. So every time we came in for a reorg, I had to check my personal kit that I was using, then make sure all the other kit that I lent out was still working. And also, because I was TL, I was also having to get the briefings and sort the team out, make sure the team was ready to go. I found it to be quite stressful. So maybe next time...
Pick one.
I'll pick one. I won't be the armour and the TL. But still, so it was definitely, if you're looking to do a Milsim, and you haven't done one before, don't go in and go, I'm going to be the TL, because it is a pain in the butt.
I think you probably had the best opportunity to be a TL though, because our team was all quite relaxed. Like most of us were newbies, apart from 2 guys, and they seemed pretty chill.
Yeah. We all knew each other apart from those 2 as well, so we were quite forgiving.
Yeah, like if anyone fucked up or like you were quite forgiving of us when we weren't ready on time and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because it's not the actual army. I'm not going to be a massive dick to you guys and piss you off.
See, I think I can't do it because I'd be a monster. I'd actually be awful.
You're a monster and you weren't TL.
I know. I was awful.
Yeah, to be fair, I've seen what you're like in a escape room.
Oh, escape room. No, don't forget escape room, Alice. Escape room Alice belongs in an escape room.
Escape room Alice is a monster.
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine you in an escape room.
Stop having a good time and just get out of the room, for God's sake.
It sounds like the most peak Alice scenario I can think of.
Oh my god, she reached peak Alice.
So Ollie spent most of the Saturday running a machine gun on the back of a car. So he was sort of away from us, and he said they were somewhere else on the site, and they just heard something, and people are like, "What's that?" And Ollie goes, "Oh, it's Alice. Oh, team light must be engaged."
Actually, right, Russell, did you enjoy the Milsim?
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yeah. Yeah, I think having learnt a lot, I think I'd rather do the next one in summer.
Yes.
But I think, because I think Ollie and I were talking about this, I think we kind of came to the conclusion that, if the situation was right, I think we'd do it again.
What about you, Scott? Did you enjoy it?
I did, but I really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. Obviously, the weather was the only letdown.
Were you thinking of joining the army at one point?
Was I thinking of joining the army?
You have? Yeah.
Technically, you already have.
You put in an application?
As a reserve, yeah.
What, for Navy or
Well,
Army?
no, Navy, but...
Has this made you reconsider?
I got to admit, for a split second when we were sat in the rain, I was like, do I want to do this? I know it'd just be for training. I was like, do I really want to do this all over again? And actually, it'd be real as well. Yeah, no. But, yeah. No, I'd definitely go for another one, and I think I will buy my very own support weapon.
That'd be cool.
Because I really did enjoy
You were probably the best player out there. Sorry, Russell. I hope you
agree.
No,
I'll say that. I was pretty useless. I was kind of a spare prick at a wedding.
But we were distraction techniques, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I thought the RSW would be useful. That's why I was pushing for it. But I didn't realise how useful it was going to be.
There were so many moments. It was just like, wow, Scott, you just did it.
Could we have had like a 6-man squad of LSWs?
Yes, we could.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And it would have been absolutely brutal. The other stuff really worked.
Yeah.
And it was good because it also meant if it didn't happen, but if you did run out of mags, any of us could have thrown you mags.
Which did happen in the last, because you chucked me 2 of your mags.
I put you down to spare.
Just in case to stay out there a little bit longer.
But yeah. And what about you, Alice? How did you find it?
It was an experience.
Would you do another one?
I think so. I could never do a Milsim where we were the Junos or the Golfs, so like the serious team. I don't think I could do that. I think there'd be too much pressure, and though everyone was really lovely and they were a lot nicer than I expected, I don't think I could take it as seriously as some people take it without being a massive cowbag, and I don't want to be a massive cowbag.
Well, are you implying that some of the team leads were a massive cowbag?
No. I had an incident where I did tell
just one of them.
I did tell one of them to fuck off, but that was after they shot at us when they shouldn't have been, and then didn't tell us. Anyway.
For reference,
I apologise.
Picture in your mind Captain Price, Scottish angry man. Alice just went straight out there and told him to fuck off, and he just didn't know what to do.
Just stormed away.
In fact,
Is that when we had to run back to base?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually think he radioed it in to the commander, just be like, "The girl in the militia just told me to fuck off. What do I do?"
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I don't think I could take it as seriously. So it'd have to be like with a group of mates in a fun team.
Yeah, absolutely.
There to have a good time, because I understand why people take it seriously.
That does bring up a point. Were there any expectations you had of it that were different? So like you thought it was going to be like something, and then you got there and it was completely different.
For me, yes.
Okay, so what did you think it was going to be? What?
I thought it was going to be a huge site. I thought there'd probably be more people than there were. But I think there were meant to be more people, but a load of them bailed.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely expected to take out an army stove with me.
Yeah.
And a bit of water, because I expected that we'd be sent out somewhere. We'd walk a couple of miles, well, not quite a couple of miles, but halfway across the site. We'd be told to pitch up there. We'd put a brew on, we'd have lunch out in the field, and then we'd sort of move off again. And it wasn't. It was basically a skirmish site, and it was basically skirmish was camping and cooking on stoves.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. Yeah, I was fully expecting to be like deployed out away from the HQ for many hours and carry our cooking equipment with us. Admittedly, it was quite useful having your cooking equipment and your webbing, because it meant if you're on stag, you could at least make a brew while still being on stag.
But no one did that.
I did it.
Did you?
Yeah. I was halfway through. Well, I just made the coffee when we got called on QRF, and I'm just like...
Oh, on stag.
Yeah,
that sorry, you mean back at base.
Back at base.
Oh, sorry. That's my understanding.
Because it was like a load of skirmishes, you'd sit down, you'd make your coffee, and then you would be sent out again, because it was like the next skirmish.
Yeah, it was. I quite enjoyed it. The one thing I was expecting was people to like try and put in more rank and structure, as in like properly expect us to call them sir and salute and everything. But no, it was.
There were a dozen of us there.
I know this.
But enough people to put in a chain of command.
No, but there was a chain of command, because there was the command officers, and then there were the TLs, and we were very much the junior section at the disposal of the other TLs. But to be fair, guys, all the other TLs did feedback that they were actually really impressed with us for our first Milsim. We stuck with it. A lot of other people would have bailed, and did. Like loads of people bailed on the weekend because of the weather before getting there.
And the following morning as well.
And the following morning.
Because that was disgusting
that
weather.
Was dire.
But yeah, they were really impressed that we stuck with it, and apparently we were quite combat effective.
Yeah.
Those must be nice.
Almost like years and years and years of running an airsoft club comes in handy.
Maybe of their toll, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Go on, Ben, would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely. I really enjoyed it, and I just again want to say thank you all for indulging me in having a go at Milsim.
Would you do it as a sort of serious MTP based, one of the serious squads?
I'd be up for getting the MTP gear. I wouldn't be as gung-ho as to go and get like proper nods and everything. So nods, night vision. Some of the guys were rocking
some expensive kit.
Very nice night vision.
And you have expensive kit without night vis, so don't.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I do have some expensive kit, but yeah, I would play as British infantry, but I wouldn't go and try and play as UKSF, because I was thinking most of them were dressed up as UKSF operators as opposed to British infantry. I'd happily go and get modern British infantry kit to do it.
Yeah, because an M4's cheaper than an SA-80.
No. Some of these guys had spent literally a couple of grand building L119A2s and properly doing it.
I guess I kind of expected more of a community feel to the units. I think, I don't know, I kind of expected more like, not campfires and sing-songs, but we were all quite separated off into our units, I found.
Yeah, we all had different cliques though.
Yeah, there were cliques, weren't there? And I kind of expected people to like come on cross cliques and like talk to each other, but I didn't really.
Yeah, I didn't really talk to anyone from
really?
the other squads.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess I had a slightly different view on it because of the TL role. I was interacting with the other TLs, but I had been beforehand because there was a TL chat.
Oh, I tell a lie. People kept calling me Farmer Giles. I was getting SA80.
That brings up. There is a great video that Tom filmed of all of the units coming back out the field, probably about 3 o'clock on Saturday, and there's all the Brit dressed NTP guys at the front, and you could just make you out. You're like 300 meters away, but you could just see you in your farmer's gear just like coming along the field. One of the things I really enjoyed about this, which you don't get in a normal skirmish, is the fact that we actually stayed as a team. Like normally, when you go to a skirmish, you make a plan, and then it all goes out the window as soon as the game starts, and everyone just runs in different directions.
So we make plans? I thought we just embraced the chaos.
Well, at a normal skirmish, you just embrace the chaos and all run in separate directions. But here, we actually were working together, staying together, and we were actually quite combat effective.
Yeah.
Once or twice. What do you think about the admin area we set up?
It was nice.
I thought that was fun.
It was good to have a little area we could all sit and cook and talk and.
Yeah.
So I'll put up a quick shot, but for reference, we set up a basher about 5 feet off the ground, and a second one pretty much going straight down. So we had a little area that should have been fairly dry that we could sit under and store. We had gun bags.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And I thought that was.
And
really
we all
nice.
camped around. Well, we all did fires around there at one point.
Yeah, we all sat around there and had dinner.
And then
I had oops.
Almost dinner time. I'm having oops.
I think one of the things to say though is if you want to do a Milsim, absolutely go ahead and try it. I feel like most people who do Milsims will be fairly forgiving of new players.
Yeah, because they were.
Yeah.
They're not? Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If not, tell them to do one.
Time to fuck off.
But absolutely, don't just think you can rock up with the kit you have for skirmish and get away with it. You need to be able to carry food and water on you. You need to be able to sleep somewhere, so you need camping gear.
You need to be able to stay warm and fed, because no one else is going to do it for you.
And go and do a Milsim with your mates as well as a squad.
Absolutely, try and do it with your mate.
It was so much more fun when you know the people in the squad with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, obviously, no offence to Jason,
and Barry that joined us, which was really nice to have.
Yeah,
people
it was nice to have new
experience.
people, but I don't personally think I could have done what they did and just joined a random squads.
Some people did on other teams.
Some people
as well.
do, yeah. But not a problem with it at all. But I don't think I could have.
Yeah, I think it's one of those tough moments when it's raining, and you've got that it's raining and it's cold, or it's just generally cold and dark or something. And they're like QRF, and all of you, and you're just there like, I don't want to go, but because everyone else is kind of G'ing you along, you're like, fine.
Yeah. Honestly,
fine, I'll go on this night game even though I'm terrified. Sort of stuff.
My biggest worry going into the Milsim was that you guys weren't going to like it. You were going to have a horrible time, and I'd have felt awful because I was the one who asked you guys to do it. But when I came back from that QRF Sunday morning and saw you all at the HQ waiting for me, I was honestly like blown away by you guys. I was like, oh, they're doing it. But to be fair, when it comes to the raiding part, I honestly didn't care that it was raining right up until Endex got called. Endex got called, and I suddenly went, I look like a drowned rat, and I'm cold. I just want to go to that cafe down by the lake and get a full English, but I've got to strike all my kit.
I did care. I was freezing and wet and sad. There's a very sad selfie that Ben can put up at this point.
It was one of those situations where, like, especially when we went out and started the night stuff, and you think, this is fucking miserable, I'm not entirely sure I'm enjoying this. But even at the time, I knew as soon as we finished, I want to do it again.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely.
I enjoy the way this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just something about having done it as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
He said being the person who didn't, having done the last bit.
Yeah, but that's fine. Loads of people didn't do the last bit.
Yeah, quite a few people. I think it was half a squad went down, half of Juno went down.
Yeah.
Golf was pretty much intact, and then Mike, we lost Barry, who didn't play the second day, and Russ, you didn't play the second day.
And actually, Jason didn't do most of the morning. He turned up
Jason
about
did the
8.
last game.
He did the last one.
Yeah, he turned up about 8.
So yeah, you can kind of do what you want, really.
Yeah.
They can't make you do it. They can't make you play.
To be fair,
Real army.
Always wear some form of hat.
Yeah, that did. Yeah.
Either a beanie or a cap. There we go, farmer's
Yeah.
hat.
Farmer's
Yes.
I had my deputy dog hat on.
Yeah, because it makes you feel so much better when you're slightly warmer and slightly protected from the rain.
I was looking at it like, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to be so hot on that. And then I took it and I'm like, I'm glad I took that.
Yeah, that jungle.
You had the boonie on, didn't you?
That was good.
Actually, I think that the most stressful part for me was prepping and making sure I had all the kit and everything was ready, getting it all packed and making sure I didn't forget anything. And I still forgot stuff.
Yeah, I see you guys.
The most stressful part was packing down. Like, there was a lot of faff involved in prepping, but that's my jam. I'm good at that. But the packing down in the cold and wet and miserable.
That's what I did like about having that basher. It was I had it away in like 10 minutes. Yeah, and I was packed and gone in like 10 minutes.
I did think packing away was going to be more stressful than it was. I was very stressed by it, thinking about it, and then we were doing it, and it wasn't that bad.
I think the hardest part for me was finding all of my guns that were dotted around site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so I guess we should probably wrap this video up. I just want to say again,
The
thank
fourth
you.
time.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Ollie, who I'm no doubt definitely going to watch this video all the way through, for indulging me and coming along to play this Milsim with me. It was an absolute blast. I couldn't have done it without you. And I certainly wouldn't have survived the weekend without you guys. So thank you for that. And to you watching, if you haven't done a Milsim before, I highly recommend giving it a go. Even if it's just to say, you know what, I don't want to do another one of these, because I think even if it sucks, you'll enjoy it.
Or you can play as much of it as you want, because it's still not real.
Absolutely, that's the best part of it. If it sucks, you go, you know what, I don't want to, just leave.
Just leave.
Just leave.
Yeah. Well, that's not a very good note to end it on.
And on that bombshell.
Oh.
No, but seriously, if you have thought about trying it, absolutely do it. But do be aware that there is some investment to do it, because you can't go out and you can't turn up and expect them to have all the kit you need ready for you. It's not like going to your first
That
skirmish.
said, if you've got your own camping stuff and you've been camping a fair bit and you've got skirmish kit, you're most of the way there.
Absolutely. So if you've got camping gear already and you've got some skirmish kit, your biggest investment is going to be getting the right uniform for the Milsim you're doing, and making sure you've got mid caps, because all Milsims will either be mid cap or low cap. They won't allow high caps.
And something to carry them in.
Yeah,
Because some people don't like heavy rigs.
Yeah.
So you have to buy a chest rig for this, which sucked, but oh well.
And I think the biggest thing we're taking away from this is, once you've signed up to the Milsim, make sure you read the rules and you have them seared into your brain. So you know not to burst fire for like 20 seconds.
To use the medic rules.
To use the medic rules. And to know that leaf and wind exist.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Milsim with friends is fun.
And on that terrible bombshell, I'm going to go and kick Scott out of the house and hang up on Russ. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. And I will see you all soon in the next one.